Hello. Hello, hello. Hi. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me at all? I'm on new on this Zoom and I'm trying to figure out how the darn thing works. You can hear me. Okay, cool. Can you like see me in real time or is it off? Thank you guys for your help, by the way. This is new for me. Okay. So you can see me in real time. It's weird because I don't see myself like that. It's weird. Real time. Okay. All right. I need to like not look at myself because it's not showing me what you guys are obviously seeing. Does that make sense? Because I'm hearing myself talk like after the fact. Can you guys still hear me even though I have my computer on mute? Can you still hear me? Here, I'm going to take a picture. Yes. See, like you can't see me like I can't see myself. It's like frustrating. Does that make sense? Like I can't see myself. It's weird. All right. So let's see. All right. So my friend said it's supposed to be lagging or whatever. So we'll see. All right. So let me make sure that comments are on. Let me see. The dogs are going crazy. Awesome. I always pick the right time to go live. Can you guys tell? All right. Let me see. I'm sorry, guys. I'm new with it. So I need to see. I just saw you guys, and now I can't see you guys. So let me go back to Facebook and see. All right. I, I can see myself and all of you. Okay. I got this, I think. I think I got it. And you guys can hear me, right? Give me a thumbs up, and then I'll get started. Sorry, guys. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes, yes, no, no. Aaron, Jesse, can you guys hear me like right now? Good. You're good? Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Raven Woods. I'm really not this unorganized, but I'm new doing this live on Zoom, which I don't like. I'm actually switching services, but I'm dealing with Zoom until I switch to stream. Okay. So my name is Raven Woods. I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks IEP, and I help parents gain the knowledge and the confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. So with that said, if you are new to catching me live, post a 1 below. All right. So that's your first through third time catching me live. That's it. You got 3 tries. That's it. All right. And if you are an oldie but goodie, you guys know what to do. Post a 2 below. Okay. I like to see who's on here. I like to get to know you guys. I know this is the page, so I'm typically now going live over in my group. But I started this on Friday and I wanted to finish it up. So if you're not part of the group, go to Autism Mama Rocks IEP group and put that in. I hear you. It does seem there is a bit of a delay in hearing you. Yeah, I don't like that. But you guys can hear me, right? All right. So, all right. So bottom line, okay. I want you guys to post a 1 below. Tell me where you're from. All right. Posted 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. All right. And we'll go from there. If you're not part of the group, make sure to join the group. Okay. Because you won't be sorry. It's an awesome group. All right. So I can see myself now, guys. And so I've kind of worked it out. So hopefully that works. Okay. Yes. Share this. Okay. So I'll have to obviously go watch the first video that was Friday, and it's, do I keep dealing with what is messed up, or do I start over? All right. Obviously, you're not gonna fix something that is not broke. But if your child's not making progress, you're frustrated and at your wit's end, you are not sure what to do, you're at a loss. I'm just kind of going through all the things that I felt as a mom. Um, you are ready to pull your hair out. You cry after IEP meetings. Oh yeah, I'm telling you everything how I felt. Okay, I'm just putting it out there. Yeah, and I'm not a drinker, but every time I went to an IEP meeting, I needed a beer, literally after an IEP meeting. And I'm not a drinker at all. You know, I'll drink every once in a while. Once in a while, like I could probably count on one hand, like per month, not even, maybe. And every time I had an IEP meeting, I needed a beer. But no, seriously, if you're feeling that stress, that anxiety, that tightness in your shoulders, um, feeling just sad and depressed, feeling like maybe that you're failing your child, which you're not, but that's maybe how you feel. Um, then this is a good video for you. Okay, if you're feeling like the IEP is just not working, okay. As you guys know, when you join my group, okay, so I know there's people here on the page that are also members of the group. When you join the group, you answer a series of questions. It's like 4 questions. It's easy, guys. So if you're not part of the group, don't worry about the questions. You don't have to answer them, but I prefer you do because it really helps me in knowing where you're struggling. And it's interesting because I learn a lot from it. And one thing that I've learned is the areas of where you guys struggle. And it's so much like mine. And one of the big areas is this one, all right, that has come up recently, all right, since COVID and everything going on with that. So, is everything better, Aaron? Are you good? Is everything good? Am I still lagging or whatever? Okay, good, loud and clear. All right. So, hello, Jesse and Lori and Tracy and Claudia and Sheila and Gladys. Welcome, guys. Don't forget, if you're jumping on, post a 1 below if you're new. Catching me live first through third tonight, okay? Tell me where you're from, all of that fun stuff. All right. So, you are dealing with something that's a mess. You got to think about, is it more work to put into fixing something that is just jacked up? Or is it more work starting over? Here's my response to that. Start over, please. Okay? Fixing a mess is going to cause more heartache and headache than anything else. All right? If it's already messed up, erase it and just go start over with a clean slate. All right? That doesn't mean what's already happened has happened. That doesn't mean the goals didn't work. That doesn't mean there was no progress or that didn't happen. It doesn't mean that you didn't go at it with teachers or whomever. It doesn't matter that you're feeling the way you do. What matters is making a change to something that's not working. Okay? And that's not disregarding anybody's feelings. That's not disregarding anything that's going on. It's keeping it simply stated on the fact that you have to fix things and focus on that and not so much focus on what's been messed up, why it's been messed up, all of that kind of stuff. Now, that being said, you still want to reflect on what went wrong and how can you change that not happening again. Okay. So if that means, okay, you need to learn more, okay, you need to educate yourself more. A lot of people, um, including myself, thought, oh, I'm just going to go read IDEA. I'm going to go to Wright's Law, which, he lives an hour and a half from me. I've been to tons of his trainings, Wright's Law, and all that kind of stuff. And, I have a certificate from William and Mary Law School in advocacy. And one thing I have found is you can have all the knowledge in the world. All right. As you guys know, I have a doctorate in Google. My PhD is in Google. All right. That's how much research I have done. You guys know there's no such thing as a PhD in Google, right? But no kidding, I do. You probably do too. All right. We are masters in Google. All right. We look up what understood and parents page, whatever it is. There's tons, as you guys know. Rights law, blah, blah, blah. All right. Some are good, some are BS, etc. All right. Rights law is actually a really good one. But here's the thing is if you don't know how to implement what you're reading, you're just reading. It's kind of like reading a book and not comprehending it. Make sense? So you have to understand what you're reading. And I don't know about you, I'm not an attorney. I don't understand law, and go read IDEA for a second. Holy, I mean, just trying to get your mind around what it means is hard. Okay. So with all that said, Raven, Google, autism on our website. Yeah, I got my PhD in Google, guys. You gotta know. All right. Just kidding. I have a master's, but I don't have time for a PhD. More power to the people who have. So bottom line, guys, I want you to focus more on gaining the knowledge on how to present and persuade than gaining knowledge just to have knowledge. Because if you don't utilize that knowledge in a way that is productive, in a way that's going to get you results, then don't waste your time Googling. All right. That doesn't mean don't interest yourself or educate yourself. It just means if you don't understand it, figure out how you are. Okay. If that means calling up a friend, if that means, getting an advocate, if that means calling an attorney, whatever it is that you want to do it. Don't just read it to read it and not know how to implement it. I can't tell you how many people read the law and an idea, all right, or go on Wright's Law or get the books. I have them all. Let me show you. All right, these are awesome books. All right, you got all about IEPs. All right, can you guys see this? All right, hold on, let me move this over. So all about IEPs, answers to frequently asked questions about IEPs. Awesome. Didn't tell me how to implement it. All right, here's the next one. This one's good. And I have the new one of this somewhere. I don't know where I put it. But this is Special Education Legal Developments and Cases 2015. I have the 2019 now, 18 or 19. I just don't know where it is. It's somewhere around here. And then there's the special education law. Okay. And then there is from emotions to advocacy. This is a good one, actually. So mine's all messed up, like you can see. I mean, I got every page, got my highlighters. This one is actually a nice one. Okay. My old one, hang on one second. I don't have it. No clue where it went. It's somewhere around here, guys. All right. So can't find it. So basically, these are awesome books. They really are. Okay. But the thing is, and you can get them on Wright's Law. Okay. Um, so what I did, okay, so this one, special education law. All right. I took everything I learned, okay, from IDEA, and I created my own PowerPoint presentation on taking this, and it's a legal jargon, no joke. All right, it's legal. All right, and I put it in basically layman's terms. I created it in a way where it was described and given to you in a way in which you would understand in just normal everyday language because it's that confusing. All right. And it's important to understand that, like I said, you can know the law. You can know, um, for example, a lot of the laws are something that you can even memorize if you're anything like me. All right, I memorize them like you can do 300.309 and you can know exactly what it's in reference to and grade level and so on and so forth. And but guess what? It didn't do anything for me. I couldn't go into an IEP meeting and quote law. You can't go in and be like, take your book, all right, and say, according to 300.320, the definition of an individual education program is blah, 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 blah. You can't do that. Okay. So hang on, let me shut my door. Sorry about that, guys. My husband and my daughter got home at the same time. Okay, so you can't do that. They're gonna they're you don't want to do that. You're thinking you're going in with knowledge. Hey, I got the book. I got you. I'm going to tell you all about the law, and you guys are going to listen, and you're going to give me everything I need for my child. All right. So here's the thing. I know the law now. Okay, I got this book. So we're gonna go through this book, and I'm gonna get everything I need for my child. Okay. And look, I even highlighted the book. I'm talking to the IEP team here. And so, look, you have to give my child scientifically based reading because that's what it says in the book. And it says, according to the law, that scientifically based research programs mean this, and my child needs it. My child needs a scientifically based reading program. So, because it's in the book and it's the law, you guys got to provide that to my child because it's needed and appropriate for her. So, hold on one second, hold on. Let me switch to the page that really, really, really is going to work for her. Hang on, I got this. Hold on one second. I got this. Um, this is how I was in an IEP meeting, guys. No joke. All right. Okay. Here we go. This is what I did, guys. Don't laugh at me. This is what I did. All right. So if you're joining, by the way, post a 1 below if you're new. First through third time catching me live. I'm like playing out what I did in an IEP meeting. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Okay. So I held the book up, all right, because I have like 15 members on my team. All right. And I said, my daughter, really should have the best. And what I don't understand is, I'm sitting around the table with all of you, and the the representative isn't here. Where's the representative? Who's the representative? I didn't even know, guys. I didn't know. So I'm like sitting there asking. And then I said, and according to 34 CFR Part 300, it says if I file for due process, if you don't give my child what I want, I'm going to file for this due process thing. All right. This due process says, that I can file a complaint and take y'all to court if you don't give my child what they need. Okay. And, within 5 days, I get a hearing officer. All right. You might think that's funny, but it's okay. So when you're in an IEP meeting, if you're anything like I was, I'm sitting there quoting the law. I'm sitting there reading the freaking book to them. All right. So whether you're reading the book or you're just quoting it, it's the same thing. All right. And what you need to know is you have to get away from. Yes, you need to know the law. Yes, you need to know how to have them implement the law. But what you don't need is to dictate the law to them because basically you're saying, hey, you guys are dummies and I'm the smart one and let me read this book to you. That's not going to come across too well. All right, whether they know the law or not, who cares? You are going to know the law, okay? Because you are going to learn how to interpret it adequately. Okay? You're going to learn how to not just interpret it adequately. Here's the key, guys, is you are going to be able to then present it in a way, flip the law around. Let me tell you what I mean by that. I always say this, and I say this in my big course, Rock the IEP, because I teach people from beginning to end how to truly rock their IEP. You don't, you got to look at it, reverse psychology. So you got to look at it like this. All right. So you take a law. Say, a law is, let me think. I never can think of stuff like right off the bat. They have to implement the IEP with fidelity. They're not giving your child services. Okay. And your child really needs speech, and their speech has gone down the tubes because speech hasn't been implemented as it should be. That's written in IEP. All right. So you're, new, if you were anything like me. I always relate to me because I was a freaking idiot. Not that you are. That's not what I'm saying. I was. So basically, I went in and I said, Skylar is not learning and she is not improving in her speech. She is continuing to work on her WH words. She has not improved at all. She is really struggling. I don't know if your child is, by the way. These are the two struggle ones. Well, there's three. There's how, what, and why. Okay. Um, so why and how are the hardest? And for years that she didn't make improvement. And you know, it was where the speech therapist was not going into the classroom and getting her each time at the correct time. She was having less services each time. And this was years ago. If the speech therapist was sick, she didn't tell me that she didn't make up the speech. So there wasn't that consistency. So, I went in quoting the law, thinking I knew my shit. I didn't. And I found that I didn't get anything I wanted. I felt like I was on this like hamster wheel and it was going nowhere. And I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. I knew the law. I'm telling them the law. Why are they not giving the child what she needs? She needed more speech therapy and she needed compensatory speech therapy to make up for what was not given to her and not implemented. So, what I mean by flipping it is you take what's happening, okay, what the problem is, and how it's affecting your child in the educational setting. So instead of saying you need to give my child speech, you need to give her compensatory services, let me read the book to you. Instead of doing that, you say, my child is regressing in speech due to the fact that her IEP is not being implemented with fidelity. Her IEP is in place, the legal document is in place for a reason, for her to make benefit, for her to make progress. She is not, in fact, making progress because the district is not following the IEP with fidelity, and therefore she has regressed and it's caused what's called educational harm. So, because of that, what our goal is as a team is to implement the IEP with fidelity. Your job is to implement the IEP with fidelity. On top of that, if it's not implemented with fidelity, that is, obviously a procedural violation. Actually, take that back. Implementing the IEP, unfortunately, is a substantial violation. But there's many substantials can equal procedural. So then you say, and it has caused her to regress. She's not making her goals. She is not, she's had struggles with W8 questions for years. It's still not being improved. Compensatory services need to be put in place and more intensive speech therapy needs to be given because of this lack of implementation. So you're taking what's wrong, which is implementing the IEP with fidelity, okay? And you're taking what the impact is, which is loss of services, which is loss of education, loss of speech. What did it cause? Educational harm, regression, and so forth. So I took what the problem was, which was the services weren't given or were given, when they felt like it or how they wanted to do it. And then what I focused on was how it affected her, how it affected her in the educational setting, educationally. Okay. So you take what's going on and you flip it into where it affected it. All right. So when I say flip it, it's take the law and make it about your child. So instead of, implementing the IEP with fidelity, well, how did they not implement the IEP with fidelity? And how did that affect your child in the educational setting? And what needs to happen to change what has been done in a negative way? Okay. So you always have to think of what is the problem? How was the educational piece affected? How are they affected in the educational setting? And then what is the solution? Okay, the 3-step thing. But you have to know how to present law, idea, okay, in the right way in order to adequately really advocate for your child. So let's go back. Do I stay with something that's messed up or do I start over? You start over. Okay. The reason why you start over is because something fresh and new is always great. You can create it and mold it into what you want it to be. You can create and mold it from the things that you have done that you're not ever going to do again. All right. Because you have a new sense of IEP, you have new sense of knowledge. Okay. So you're able to erase the board and start over. How do you start over? Well, first thing is first. You go back to the basics. That's why I always tell parents, you're so lucky to start. If you have a 3 or 4-year-old or even just 4-year-old and they're getting ready to go into kindergarten and you're just getting knowledgeable about the IEP, it's awesome. It wasn't how it worked out for me. I wasted 6.5 years. But if that's where you're starting, you're lucky. That's awesome. Okay. So what you need to do is learn as much as you can. And practice really does make perfect. Okay. Nothing's really always perfect, but you get good at what you do. You just keep doing it and doing it and doing it again. IEP is not something that just happens just like that. You go to a meeting and it's a one and done. All right. I do things in 3 steps, always, just like I just did with you in the 3 steps leading to presenting to the team, right? The problem, okay, how it affected the child. So what, and then how it's going to be changed. What needs to happen, the solution, all right? Same thing with when you go and you redo, okay, an IEP. All right, I see you guys. Hello, hello. So real quick, guys, post a 1 below if you're hopping on. If you're new, first through third time catching me live. If you're an oldie but goodie, post a 2 below. All right. Thank you for keeping saying hi. All right, I got Kristen, Aaron, and Marlene, and Michelle, and Kim, and Kelly, and Renita. Hello, hello, guys. And Gladys, describing me these days. Sheila, new to the group from Missouri, welcome. I'm actually an advocate for 3 different parents in Missouri. Just got things going with mediations, 2 of them. So Missouri is quite the state, along with Illinois. All right. California is actually losing its mojo. They're becoming easier and some of these other states are getting harder. We got Wendy from Las Vegas and Lori and Tracy. Awesome. Claudia, welcome, guys. Okay. So now let's talk about when you start over. All right, let's just ignore the mess. All right, please don't do the mess. Don't choose that one. All right, don't think that, oh, I've been dealing with this a while. There's no way I'm starting over. I'm just going to deal with it and pick it up and, take the IEP and go and make the changes, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. And it ends up still being a mess. So the way to start over, all right, it's not like you're ripping up your IEP, but it's kind of like you're ripping up your IEP. Is you're sending an email and you're talking about how, this is not working. You can say they have not made adequate recommendations in regards to evaluations that were recently done. It could be, they're not implementing the IEP with fidelity. It could mean your child's not making progress, whatever the case may be. Okay. If your child hasn't had an evaluation in the last, I would say, year, all right, that's the first thing. All right. You want to get a full evaluation. All right. I'm not going to go into what those are right now, but you need a full evaluation based on the child's individual needs. All right. Then you want to, and this is what I always suggest, then you disagree with the school's evaluation. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes you may not really disagree. Yes, school systems, I tell people to do this. I do. Why? Because they're right. Um, so you can actually just say you disagree. All right. Why I say that is because you have to disagree to get an IE. So you disagree, you go get an IE. What is an IE? That's an individual education evaluation where you get to go and get an evaluation from a provider on the outside. Okay, so a psychologist, a speech therapist, OT, PT, whatever it is. And then the reason why, when you're starting over, that I say to do this. So if you're not starting over, all right, I wouldn't say just go get an IE. Because if you feel 100% certain that the school's evaluation was good and the psycho ed was good and it tells you exactly where the present levels are and you are 100% that it was right on, they did a great job. All right. And one evaluation I have that I will go through with you guys one day on a live Zoom is an evaluation of psycho ed. It's 51 pages and it's fabulous. All right. It was a new psychologist who did it. So, of course, they do it the best. And, it was one of those that I was floored and totally impressed. She did every single evaluation. It was amazing. So no way would we have asked for an IEE. That evaluation was fabulous. All right. But there's lots of evaluations that I've seen from the school that are not so great. So that's when you do want to disagree if it's like that. But leading back to what we were talking about, in regards to starting over, you're going to disagree. You're going to go get an IEE. The reason for that is you want both opinions. You want the school's opinion and what they observed in the educational setting. Then, I'm sorry for my dogs barking, guys. Then you want the IEE, which is the outside evaluation of people that aren't really in the educational setting and what their input is. All right. The reason you want that is because you have two different things. It's like if you have, something going on with you, you want to make sure you get two different opinions. All right. So that's what's really important. The other thing, hold on one second. The other thing I want you to know is once you have both evaluations, okay, then you're able to go through them in detail, all right, and you're able to really look at the whole picture, all right. You're able to say, okay, speech and speech, all right. Um, You're able to look at OT and OT. You're able to look at the psychoed and the psychoed. Whatever it is, you're able to look at side by side and compare them. And the cool thing about that is you're able to get the whole picture of your child. What I like, all right, is persuading the school district to let's go by both. Why not? Let's not have this one-sided, this is how it has to be kind of attitude. It doesn't. Things can always change. Let's do something different. You know, let's take a little bit of, what the outside psychologist said and a little bit of what the inside psychologist said, because, there's the right, the wrong, and something in the middle, or the so-so and the not so great, and then something in the middle, however it goes, guys. What is it? Um, the, your opinion, my opinion, the truth kind of thing. Um, so when you take both, you're able to really implement what really is going on. And then with your input of being the parent and knowing your child best, if you're able to create that together and they're open, then if not, get an advocate or get somebody that can make sure that that is implemented, and put in right and written right and all of that, then what a better way to get adequate present levels, which is the meat and potatoes of your IEP. And then, all right, you're on a roll. All right. So that's why starting over is a no brainer. All right. So I don't care where you are in the process. If it's a mess, if something's not right, if it's not worth the fight trying to change up all that stuff without any doubt. All right. So start over. All right. Start over. Create all new present levels, create all new goals, and services are built off the present levels. What is in there? What is in there that shows, all right, your child needs XYZ. All right. So everything is in the present levels. Everything. All right. That's why I'm getting ready on Wednesday, launching. All right. If you're interested before Wednesday, you get a better deal. By the way, I got all my people that are on here that already did remind me to PM you. All right. So if you're interested, I'm doing a course. I'm only taking 12 people per course. Okay. I'm doing 3. All right. I only put this out. I messaged about 6, 7 people who signed up. Just because I know them and they're always on live, stuff like that. Many of them are on now. But if you're interested, this is what I'm doing. All right, is I am putting a course together. Well, it's already put together. I put the course together that is about present levels and goals. All right, so what I teach you is not the starting over. I teach you how to write your own present levels, all right, from evaluations. How do you do that? Like you can have an evaluation and you need to create present levels, but how do you do that? So I teach you exactly how to do that. Then I teach you how to take those accurate present levels and create everything about your IEP. Everything. All right. Services, accommodations, modifications, goals. And then I teach you how to create goals just like that. All right. Create goals from your child's present levels. If you saw someone else's present levels, you'd be able to create a goal just like that. It's so easy once you see me teach this to you that you're going to be like, oh my God, really? It's that easy. But it's just a different way of thinking. That's all. So I had trained my brain to think a different way because everything I was doing wasn't working. So I had to figure out what was going to work, and that's how I basically transformed my daughter's IEP and her situation and what was going on. And why I've helped so many others do the same. Because it's not always about how I talk all the time, of how, the school system is always, the ones that are in our way and always the ones this or always the ones that. Because in all honesty, yes, obviously there's a global problem, USA problem, it's a problem. So someone is at fault. It's not one of those things where nobody's at fault. Somebody's at fault. And, it's hard because it's like, I definitely don't want to blame teachers, because teachers like myself go into teaching to help children, not to not provide what's needed and appropriate for them. I've been very impressed at the fact that I've had a lot of people join my group that are teachers, are educators, and they have asked me, I, well, number one, I want to learn about present levels and goals. How do I create better IEPs? All right, because they're having complaints. And then what can I do to help them do that? And I think that's awesome because as teachers, we actually learn from each other. So I'm kind of changing my view because the goal here is to make change. So even though somebody is at fault for your child not making progress or in lieu of their circumstances, that doesn't mean huge, that just means progress and consistent progress. Um, the goal here is to make change. So my job, I'm just changing things up for the new year. This is what I'm doing for 2021. Number one, I've worked in 39 states. I want to get to 50. So y'all need to call me. No, I'm just kidding. But yes, my goal is to get to 50. I'm at 39. I've advocated for parents and children in 39 states. So I have what, 11 more to go? Yeah, 11 more. I can do that in a year. The next thing is I'm educating teachers. So I'm actually creating a course specifically for teachers as well. So bottom line, what I'm putting out on Wednesday, so you can PM me if you're interested, is a course on present levels and goals, how you develop those present levels, how they should be written, how you should know right away, are they written right? If they're not, have them go redo it or you write them yourselves. And so I'm going to teach you how to do that, how you pull that out, how you basically dissect it into the IEP in areas, what not to do, okay? What not to do, one thing that bugs the living you-know-what out of me, it just plucks my last nerve is, and go check your IEP, I bet your IEP has this, where it's in the strengths area where they're just talking about your child. A lot of times they start off with, hey, Billy likes to play and slide down the slide at recess. Okay, great. I'm happy about that. But tell me about his education. Okay. I'm glad he likes to swim. I'm glad he likes to go down the toilet. That's awesome. But that's not what we're talking about here. That's not what the IEP is for. So what I want to hear, all right, is how is Billy doing in his academic area? So let's just say math. Billy is doing addition and single digit addition and subtraction problems. He is becoming very, very efficient in all of the numbers, all of the digits within his mathematical equation of addition. All right, whatever they want to say, that he is proficient in it, he is good at it, and we're good to go. That is a strength. All right. What I hate being strengths is Billy is really good at single digit addition and subtraction. Numbers up to 10, up to 9, whatever, okay? And then it will say, but, or however, Billy really struggles with that. That's not a strength. Get that the hell out of the strength. Stick with the strength and the strengths, all right? So you take that pen and you mark out that however and that darn but, okay? And you stick with bam. Billy's really good at addition and subtraction, single digits. He's become very proficient in it and answering questions within 30 to 60 seconds. All right. Billy's really good at telling time on an analog clock. He's able to tell the time in the quarter of the hour. And he's become really, really proficient at time, however that wants to be described. All right. No, however, no, but, okay, that goes in weaknesses. Now, weaknesses is Billy struggles with 2-digit addition and subtraction. He is at about 30% proficiency. The reason for this is what? Okay. So your present levels should be itemized by each thing. So math, reading, social emotional, speech, OT, PT, APE, if they're in whatever it is that they're in, it should be itemized. There should be strengths and weaknesses. Okay. And how it affects them and how that affects them in the educational setting, or how it affects them in the general education setting. Okay. So I teach you how to do that. All right. And to understand it just like that. Okay. Super easy, super quick, and you'll be happy. All right. Because you'll be able to know that IEP by the back of your hand. The next thing that you're going to learn in this 1-day intensive mastermind is how to create the rest of your IEP based off those appropriate and adequate and accurate present levels. Okay. And you're going to be bringing me your IEPs. I'm going to look at them. I'm going to tell you in talking with you. That's why I'm keeping the group small. If your present levels are good, or if you need to go back and start over. And then you're going to already be leaving the course knowing exactly what to do. Okay. Now, what I mean by I teach you the rest of your IEP is everything's created from the meat and potatoes. So then you're able to know exactly what's needed and appropriate for services, accommodations, and modifications. Then you're also going to know what goals are going to correlate. Goals come from present levels, always. And then other goals, such as daily living, can be added too. All right, daily and functional living. And you're going to get my services, accommodations, and modifications course for free, just for doing the 1-day intensive. So that's what I'm putting out on Wednesday. If you're interested, PM me right away because I want to make sure that you get a spot. Okay. So again, it's 12 people per class. I'm going to be doing classes ongoing, but only for January and February. Are you getting a huge discount? So, and you're getting the course, the other course, the services, accommodations, and modifications course for free. All right. So that's it. So if you're interested, just PM me. So going back to, I see people joining. So post a 1 below. It's your first through third time catching me live. Go back and catch the replay. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. So does anybody have any questions in regards to, is my IEP messed up? What do I do? Do I start over? Do I stay in the mess? Let me know. I'll stay on for a little bit and see what you got going on. Yes, I already know yours, Kim. They have Justin playing Pac-Man and drawing about Sonic and Hog. Nikki says, what are you saying thank you for, Nikki? Hello, hello. Oh, Nick said, I thought you could only get an evaluation every 3 years. Huh, no. That's the triennial, all right? And the school is required to do a triennial evaluation every 3 years. You, my friend, can request reevaluation every year. All right. All right. Kristen says, that's why I watch you. I want to learn everything and set up my son and the best I can starting kindergarten. We're going to have fun in that course. We're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. So yeah, I see some of you starting to PM me. So yes, PM me about the course if you're interested. I'll get you started and we will go from there. Okay. It's really exciting. And, my thing is, with COVID and everything going on, you have parents that are just beside themselves. You have depression, out, it's crazy, anxiety, crazy. And so it's just time, to get something together that's going to be right and, and work, you know? And so the best way in my thought process to do that is to really get your IEP together. So I've had to think, how can I help more of the masses with, I have my Rock IEP course and I like personally working with people. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this face to face. I'm going to make it a small group of 12, and I only have 32 spots left, which is not much. But that's all I'm doing right now. All right. Once those are sold out, then I'm going to maybe take a little bit of a break for a month and then I'll start it again. But you don't really want to wait if you can get your IEP straight, because that's going to affect you next year. So getting it together now, or just knowing what you need to know to have it be put together in the appropriate way, is going to put you in a really good position, because knowledge is power. And the more knowledge you have, the less money you're going to spend on an advocate or an attorney or anything else. I'm not trying to say don't hire me. I'll do an IEP makeover. I will do the IEP package with you and do the emailing and all those things. Of course I will, and a lot of people like watching me do it and then they go and implement it themselves. And that is education too. But if you also know your present levels, you know how to create the IEP and know how to get that together, that is giving you a lot of knowledge. All right. Yes, you're going to have to learn how to persuade the team in the right way, how to be a go-getter. I mean, I don't back off. All right. I am that freaking fly on your back that you keep swatting off and you can't get the damn fly to, and you're like hitting yourself. That's me. All right. So that's how you have to be in an IEP meeting. All right. You got to be that fly that they're like, get the hell off me. Oh my God, where did I get from? You know what I mean? So you've got to do that. Like, you got to be that damn fly. All right. Have you ever had that? My dad has a horse ranch in Dallas, and it drives me crazy because there's flies everywhere. I'm like, oh my God, but that's what you have to be. You have to be that damn fly. All right. To where they're like, oh my God, get away. So you have to just, it's like a hammering thing. And it's who's going to break first sometimes, you know? And don't be intimidated by them. Just get your answers answered and know how to persuade them in the right way by having the data, um, and then knowing your laws, idea, okay, but know how to voice them in a way that isn't quoting the school system's law, right? And the way to do that is having the knowledge on how to create the IEP, because that's one thing us teachers and us moms haven't taught. We have children, there's no book that says, all right, read your book and that's how you raise your kids, you know? Or there's no book that says, okay, none of these books teach you how to fight in an IEP meeting, advocate, whatever the hell you want to call it. None of them. They teach you and give you knowledge. That's what they do. But the rest is up to you. So when that was said to me, I was like, I read these books. I mean, I've read this book top to bottom, each page over and over. It didn't do anything. All right, it didn't. It did not. All right, it did not teach me how to communicate. It did. So think about that for a second. Think about how many times. Well, let me just say this. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to parents and they're like, but I know this stuff. I know the law. And when they're talking to me, I can tell they do. And they're like, I know he's supposed to have this, and this is why he's supposed to have this, and this is what I have, and they're not listening to me, you know? And so I, of course, I listen to parents all the time. Um, and in my head, I'm just like, okay, I hear you know? And then what do I say? What do I say, Kim? I say, I need to see the data. I need to see your evaluations. I need to see your IEPs. I need to see your PWNs. I need to see your meeting notices. I need to see your progress reports. And then I'm able to really get a good picture and talking with you about them, right? And so it's important to know everything you possibly can to be able to advocate. Then you need to know how to persuade and present it. Present would be the number one, persuade is number two. All right, that's why my trademark PPPN system is very good. All right, it's plan and prepare, present, persuade, and negotiate. Only if you present and persuade, if you plan and prepare, that goes together in the right way. I call it in my course the hunt and gather. Then you present and persuade, those kind of go together in the right way. You don't have to negotiate because they'll be convinced that that's the right thing to do for that individual child. Not that it's a who won kind of thing. It's a you presented something in the right way to where they understood that, yeah, that is appropriate for this child. Yeah, that is specific to this individual child. All right. And, that's where I want to get you guys. I don't want you going to the table anymore and it being this hamster wheel. You leaving feeling sick, you leaving feeling frustrated, you leaving ready to flip the heck out, you just not knowing what else to do. So, think about it and think about, how knowing how to write present levels and goals is going to change everything for you. Along with the fact that you do get my services, accommodations, and modifications course for free. But honestly, you need to know the meat and potatoes. And, when I created my big course, Rock the IEP, that walks you step by step from beginning to end, um, I hit on present levels quite a bit. All right. And I hit on goals quite a bit, but I don't teach how to make the goals. I talk about the present levels and I talk about the goals, but I don't talk about how you create either. It's a big course, so I go through the whole thing. So I wanted to do this on a personal level, small group, 12 people. I will, if it starts pushing it where, I have a lot more people wanting to do it. I may go up to 15 people per class, but that's where I'm going to cap it. So again, 32 spots. Um, and I do payment plans, I do all that stuff. So I wouldn't worry about any of that. You just got to PM me and then we'll go from there. But I think you'll love it. It'd be a fun day with me. All right. It's just one day of your time and one day that'll change your child's IEP forever because no one can take that knowledge from you ever. You know, I even have a teacher that messaged me and said, hey, can I sign up too? Because teachers want to know more about present levels and goals because that's what's being challenged more by parents. And so they want to have that written outwardly as well. Okay, so that's how that goes. All right. So where do you pull the IEP goal recommendations? The IEP goals, I don't know what you mean by recommendations, but who does recommendations? What is that? So basically you have present levels and your goals are made from them. So I don't know what goal recommendations is. What is that? When the school does the draft IEP and more than likely copies and pastes the goals into the IEP, is that what you mean? And gives you one or two new goals? That's awesome. Um, yes, know everything and know how to be like you. Um, all right. Okay. So if you want to PM me, do that. Here, I'll put in my WhatsApp um, link too, because honestly, that's the easiest way to get me. Um, so let me do that. Let's copy and paste it. Did you guys have a good weekend? Hopefully you did. Okay. I'm gonna put this in. All right. I'm gonna put it into the comments. So if you don't wanna do the WhatsApp, that's fine, but all you do is download it and then you, okay, I put it in. All right, so I put it into the link here to the chat or whatever you guys want to call it. So if you want to do that, you can. Okay, so WhatsApp, you just download the app. You connect actually through Facebook. So you just click it and say connect through Facebook, and then you can click on the link and it will connect you to me. And you just say hi, that I'm so and so from your page, group, whatever, and then we'll chat. Okay, but it's great because you can voice and you can all kinds of stuff. So it's great. Yes, I had a good weekend after our meeting, telling people how I had a great meeting Friday and was like, wow, she means business and how the school is not going to like me now. You're not in it for them to like you. Um, it is a business relationship, right? There's a business transaction. Your child is not the transaction. The IEP is the transaction. Okay. So you have to make sure that you understand that. Becoming the CEO of your IEP meeting is you being the CEO, you making sure that that meeting is run appropriately, that that meeting is run in regards to that individual child, that there's nothing personal being presented at that table. It's all business, okay? And a CEO cannot let emotion get involved in their decision making. A CEO does not avoid conflict. A CEO does not avoid confrontation. A CEO has one thing in mind, the purpose of what they're doing, whether that is in business, whether that is in government, whether that is in an IEP meeting, whatever it is, the CEO is in charge of what? Getting it done. All right? Getting the team together to come to an understanding and a decision made. Okay? So you need to make sure that you do that. Okay. So make sure that you become the CEO and you do it in the right way. And then the rest is history, right? So anyway, that's enough for today. I hope you can really look at not dealing with the mess. You're dealing with starting over. Let me tell you real quick how I do meetings. All right. So when a parent brings me on, like for example, Ken, it's usually when something's going wrong or something's not working or you're ready to pull your damn hair out or whatever the case may be. Okay. They're not listening to you. I mean, you, even if you're right, they've tuned you out. All right. You need to get somebody else in play for them to listen. All right. And that happens a lot, guys. You've done enough to where they're not listening anymore. It's No, 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 you're getting nowhere. And that doesn't mean you don't know your stuff. It just means they're not listening anymore. They've shut it down. All right. They do what they have to do, but they've shut it down. All right. You're not being heard anymore. So that's when a lot of advocates will come into play along with tons of other reasons. Okay. So when I'm brought on for the package, I am emailing. I talk with you for several hours, 4 hours typically for the first call. And then, I'm emailing for you and I'm taking care of everything and I'm making sure everything's done in an appropriate way, in a timely way, that no BS is going back and forth, that an IEP meeting is held, that your FERPA records request is put into play and happens in that time sensitive time frame, that if you're getting a reevaluation, that I'm stating what those are and if we need to meet or if it's something you can agree to via email, an amendment be put in play and a consent be signed. So I take care of all of that. So it takes off all the worry from you. And then I deal with with you. All right, we talk more and we plan for the IEP meeting, create a total plan of action, and then we go into the IEP meeting. And a lot of times, the first IEP meeting is about evaluations. We're talking about what evaluations are going to be done. We're talking about what's going on with the IEP and what's just not working. We're talking about parent concerns. We're talking about a bunch of stuff. Then the evaluations are typically done. So if you've already had evaluations, then you're one step ahead of the game. You'll have 2 IEPs versus 3. So then the next meeting is going over, it's called a reevaluation meeting, and that's going over each and every evaluation. All right. So what that is the evaluations that are done. The evaluators are supposed to go through each and every one of their evaluations that they do. And I've already gone through the evaluations with my client. So we're prepared to ask questions to the evaluator. Then, because you're going to want to ask questions based off their recommendations, based off the things that they observed, especially if you've read things like I do in the IEP or present levels or, the goals or the progress reports or PWNs or different things or past evaluations. I'm able to associate like, well, how did you come up with this when just 2 months ago you said this? So I'm good at catching things like that. I'm good at really focusing on what's individualized and really trying to figure out and nailing down if they just want to get, which is happening a lot lately because of COVID and virtual learning and hybrid and all that, they want to get rid of having to give so many services and accommodations because they are being fate violated. So they're wanting to he doesn't need it, he doesn't need it, she doesn't need it, all that, because, and the evaluations are showing that. I've seen evaluations where the child did not do well. And then in the recommendations it says, oh, consult. What? You know? So that's the kind of stuff that will make me flip shit. All right. And, then it's the third IEP meeting is the creation meeting. So you have the discussion and concerns and deciding of evaluations, then you have going over evaluations, and then you have the creation meeting, which is creating the IEP based off of everything that has transpired before. So that's typically how I do that. The IEP people have asked me, recently, what's the IEP Makeup? That's when I go over all of your paperwork, present levels, goals, your IEP page by page, your BWNs, your progress reports, your evaluations, everything. And then we go through the IEP page by page and I redo it for you based off of what information I have gone through. So present levels, goals, evaluations, PWNs, meeting notes, all of that stuff. Okay. And so that's important to do too. And then you go fight for yourself. All right. So there's a lot of things that are in place that can help you. Utilize the things that are in place. Okay. Because it's going to teach you how to make a change. Let's change everything about the IEP in 2021 that's not working. All right. Forget about COVID. Forget about what's not working and what's working. Let's wipe the slate clean. Sometimes just wiping the slate clean and starting back from the beginning is the best decision you will ever make. Sometimes, a lot of times, people think starting over and wiping the slate clean will create more work for themselves. The fact is, it's the opposite. Dealing with a mess and trying to recreate a mess that is just a cluster is more work than starting over. Starting over is time. The mess is work, headache type work. So take the time to do it right and start over and do it in a way that is going to benefit the child. Okay? So that is what needs to be summed up from this is do it in a way that's going to benefit the child, the individual child. Okay? If cleaning up the mess is going to do that and that works for you, fine. But for most, starting over, and I'll tell you, there's something refreshing about starting over. There's something that just will make you breathe better because you're not it's kind of like baggage. You don't have the baggage anymore. You have the repercussions, you have what happened, whether your child didn't progress or whatever, but you can't get rid of that. You got to leave the past in the past, let the mess go, and start over. Because the thing is you can recreate the IEP. You can do it. So recreate it in the right way, and then your IEP career, as I say, with your child, because typically you don't have an IEP for a year. It's ongoing. So make it easy for yourself. It's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be just a piece of cake, but make it as easy as possible. Don't create more work for yourself if you don't have to. All right. If you can do less work and have results, why not? Okay. So if less work and more results, the only thing that you don't like, maybe time, to me, that's a no-brainer. I'll deal with the time and you have to learn patience. You have to learn patience with the IEP. All right. You have to learn patience. The parents that I've talked to, that I got to get this done. I have a meeting next week. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm trying to go through all my stuff. I'll never forget this one parent. She's like, I got it. And she showed me her file boxes. She had it all together. The meeting went to crap for whatever reason. All right. And I can't comment to what the reason was. I don't really care. What I care about is that's okay. Didn't work. Let's go do it again. And so you have to have that attitude. All right. And you have to have the attitude too that with this, I had to have help. I had to, and I feel like I'm a person that has knowledge and, that has the ability to learn and, whatever it is you want to say. But, couldn't do it. I couldn't figure out the darn IEP process. It was foreign language to me. And so don't feel like because you are successful in other ways or you're smart or, you are. But if you don't get the IEP process, that doesn't null and void that. It just means that you actually do realize that this is a difficult process and it's not something we're taught. And you do have to learn it. And it's not something you can just learn and have the knowledge of law idea and think that you're good to go. Okay. And it's hard for me, to be honest, to teach what I know in regards to the way my brain works with it because I've done it so long, or explain to you I try, as best I can to explain to you um, what I mean when I joke around and say Google PhD, what I mean by saying, hey, I'm sure you've read a ton of research. I'm sure you're smart as heck. I'm sure you can maybe quote the law, all of those things, but then say to you, oh, sorry, tough that you can do that, but it's not going to work in IEP meeting, like you probably are looking at me like, who are you? But when I say that, I'm saying that from like true honesty from the bottom of my heart, from care, from knowledge of doing it myself and messing up, from talking to hundreds of parents. I mean, I've had so many IEPs since COVID, more than I had in a year's time. I mean, it's that literally like a daily thing. Today I had a mediation till 4:30, and then right after that, well, no, it was till 2:30, 2:40, something like that. And then we had a 3 o'clock call with a hearing officer. So it's like, and then I got on with y'all. So, it's back to back because of things that aren't working. One of the big things lately has been services not being given, and then IEP is not adequately written. School systems taking from parents the minutes and things that are in the IEP that they should be implementing, but saying, oh, we have an online plan. And then parents are believing there's this online plan, all right? Because you don't know any different. And that's fine. Don't worry about that. I get it. But there is no such thing as an online plan. All right. No such thing. All right. Unless you sign an IEP that takes away things that you, I guess, agreed to, there's no online plan. There's no remote learning plan. There's not. Okay. I have a client that gave me, or even my client that, and my parent that I just went to mediation. Um, online learning plan, 3 pages. How minutes were taken away and deducted, how services were different, whatever. All right. It's its own paper. All right. And then she has the IEP that's totally different. And I think I told you guys about this in a live before. What's interesting about that is in the argument I had with the attorney, there's no such thing as an online plan. What do you mean? There's online plan. They didn't implement the IEP. I don't give a shit about an online plan. What online plan? There's no such thing. Just because you produced a piece of paper and said, hey, we got an online plan. Yeah. All right. OSEP, okay, which is the head honcho. Nothing changed with COVID in regards to your IEP thing. Okay. Did that make things a little bit more difficult for educators? Yeah. Is it fair? Life's not fair. But did anything change? No. So everything in the IEP must be implemented with fidelity. Online, in the middle of the street, at Disney World, at school, wherever it is they're educating, has to be given with fidelity, implemented with fidelity. All right. Um, that's it. That's how it's done. And there is no, oh, we have, or online, and this is all we can do. We don't have, I've heard from, school systems where they're saying, oh, well, we don't have enough therapists. Not my problem. All right. Do I understand where the school system is coming from? Sure. Yeah, I do. I really understand. And it sucks, because, um, you have educators and so many people that are having to struggle to put all this together, and they just don't have the manpower. But on the other hand, as I've told my teachers and my teacher friends, is on the other hand, it can't be the parents' problem. and it can't be the student's loss. All right. So it's been enough time now, since March. Time to get it together. Time to have that plan of action virtually. It's time to make sure that things are in place. If next year continues virtually, that you got it together. All right. Whether that mean you use a whiteboard and you teach like you would, say this backdrop right here was a whiteboard. All right. And I'm teaching and teaching math just like I would in the classroom. All right. Or, direct instruction, coming up with something creative. Whatever it is, figure it out. The kinks should be worked out now. And the implementation of everything going on that has been so frustrating for all of us, for educators, for parents, for the kids, many who are having maybe behavior issues because of everything going on. It's important to realize that the time has come, and the time has come to where all those kinks should be worked out, and there should be no more kinks, and everything should be good to go. All right. Yes, there's always going to be hiccups, but as far as the school is concerned, in my opinion, just my opinion, all right, um, all of the surprise and stress and things that are going on in regards to online learning. All right, all those things that teachers were discombobulated, they didn't know what to do, they weren't trained to teach online, all that stuff in the beginning, that should all have been worked out by now. All right, there shouldn't be any issues where those issues are gaining. I'm getting more calls now than before, because before it was just beginning, and you would think that with all the kink part that would be when you'd get a call. No, it's now. And so just, be mindful of that. Be mindful that those kinks should be worked out. So if you've been one of those parents that I know are out there that have been those understanding parents that are like, my daughter's not learning, but I'm trying to understand, the teacher's doing the best she can, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm sure the teacher is doing the best she can for those who have said that. But on the other hand, are you willing to allow your emotion and your courtesy of understanding, control, influence, and change the learning of your child? It's a hard one, isn't it? Where you have to look at it like, okay, so if I'm understanding and caring, which is my personality, if you're asking yourself this, I'm understanding and caring, and the teacher's doing the best she can, and blah blah blah. All right. So do you stay over there and be understanding and caring and loving and all of that, and kind of make excuses for why you haven't taken action? Or do you say, all right, it's been long enough. I've been understanding, I've been caring, I've been this, I've been that. My child's suffering, my child's making no progress, services aren't being provided, whatever it is. Are you ready to take action? Or do you want to stay emotional? Again, you have to make a decision. All right. I've gotten a couple questions that I've asked on Facebook in my group. So if you're not a member of the group, it's Autism on Rocks IEP group. Just stick that in the search bar. The one thing I want you to keep in mind, okay, is I don't do what I do with the gusto that I do it with to be nasty, to be mean, to be inconsiderate, or anything of the such, or of the like, okay? But it can be interpreted that way because I'm a hard ass. I don't give up. I go after what's needed and appropriate for your child, and I don't let anything get in my way. Nothing. Okay? As long as it's legal, I do it. All right? And it's all legal. I can say whatever I want. I can make sure that the child's IEP is implemented with fidelity. I can state what the violations are, 504, procedural, substantive, whatever, and I will call you out on it. I cannot advocate and do my job, okay, if I got so emotional in regards to the team, okay? Because as a teacher, teachers and service providers and directors of special ed, etc. Okay, they're all people, just like you and I. All right. So even though I say to the team, I always say this typically in the beginning. I'll say anything that happens here is not personal. I just want you to know that. You say that in the beginning because it's true. It's not personal. I don't know what you do on the weekend. I don't know what you do every day. I don't know what you ate last night. I'm not your face. You know what I mean? So it's not personal. Okay, this is based off of what I know for a fact from what was produced in my FERPA request and my viewing of educational records that the parent has given me, and talking with the child and seeing the child and seeing, I'm pretty quick at gathering that information. So if I let emotion get the best of me and I let my guard down to be able to be emotional, which I'm an emotional person, believe it or not. Okay. I cannot tell you, I'm just getting off task for a second, but I cannot tell you how many mediations or IEPs that when I'm done, I get off and I'll cry. Or I'll be done and I get off and I'm just done for the night. I won't even go live because I'm just so done, you know? And the reason for that is I have to, it's almost like you have to put on this. Tyler, I am. I'll talk later. Okay. She goes, Mom, you on a live? Okay, I'll talk to you later. So I don't know. It's like I have to become numb. And I have to stay focused. All right. So if I'm numb and I allow myself to just focus and I block out anything coming at me, because I'm an aura person. All right. If some sort of vibe or emotional, anything emotional, okay, then if somebody cries, I cry, so it's like one of those things where I have to just block it. All right. And the reason I do that, and I've gotten good at it, is because if I let my guard down and I stopped advocating to allow emotion to come into play, it'd be all over. It'd be all over. So emotion is a parent's worst enemy. Sometimes, because I've gone back and forth with this. Hi, Erica and Lourdes, and gosh, there's new people coming on. Josephine, and is it Hermie? Welcome. So one thing that I struggled with for a long time is, maybe if I just let them know that I'm human, or maybe if I just let them know that I do have emotion, but it doesn't work, because that's when you let your guard down, and that's when things are not clear anymore. All right, because that emotion has taken over. Have you ever just had a good cry and you're just not thinking right anymore, right? Or you're so stressed out. Are you ready to make a educated wise decision? No, you know? So that's why I say, guys, you do have to choose. You know, we all have choices in life. You're not going to have your cake and eat it too. All right. There's no, I want to get along all the time. That doesn't mean you're rude or disrespectful if you don't have to be, and still advocate for your child and get your child what's needed and appropriate. But if that's not working, then a more aggressive way needs to be done. Okay. It's not just those idle threats. Oh, I'm going to take you to mediation. I'm going to take you to mediation. So what? They don't care. All right. You can't make idle threats. You know, that's when I I realized that early on in my story. Um, is I learned that making idle threats, they weren't taking me seriously. I was a joke to them. They probably laughed at the end of the day. You know, now, yeah, I'm a hard ass. Yeah, I'm a go getter. But you know what's funny? And this is interesting because it's recently come to my attention is being that way for my own child, a go getter, or don't let emotion get in the way anymore. I used to cry all the time. I didn't know crap, you know. Um, is I all the teachers that were her teachers, and then she went to the next grade, and so on and so forth. I'd run into them at Costco or whatever, and they all would come at me. They would say hi to Sky, of course, and then they would come at me and say, she's lucky to have you, or they'd say something of the like. And do you know when that started happening over and over, because you run into people, right? I realized me doing what I do just for Sky, even though those teachers were on the other side of the table at the time, and they didn't really do anything wrong. It was the district and the other people. That I realized that I was doing the right thing. What I was at the time, I was like, I don't know what I'm really doing, but whatever it is I was doing the right thing. All right. And it wasn't being their friend. All right. What did we get along sometimes? Sure. Did we not get along sometimes? Oh yeah. But when you advocate, you have to make a choice. We're not friends. Okay? You are business partners coming together to make a business decision. Contract is a business document. Okay? What's in the contract may be personal. You're correct. But the contract itself is a business document. When you start looking at it that way, all right, and when you're dealing with business, buying a car, you're not friends with the guy. You're what? You're going back and forth, compromise, just back and forth on price. And you may get mad at one moment, you may not get mad, you may laugh, but you're really not laughing. It's not funny. But you're negotiating all those things. You're saying things, in certain ways. You're making sure everything's, in order in the contract, all of that thing, right? And that's not even a business meeting, but you're making sure that what is discussed, how it's discussed, and then what is signed is what you want to sign. That's what you want to pay for. So instead of what you're paying for, it's how your child's going to be educated is no joke. It's not about being friends, guys. Okay? And I don't say that in any disrespect. I say that out of truth. If you are friends with your IEP team and your child gets everything that's needed and appropriate and the goals are awesome, the present levels are awesome, please PM me. I want to bring you on live and I want you to tell us your story. I have yet to have somebody tell me that. All right. Friends go to dinner. Friends go to the movies. Friends are Facebook friends. Friends call each other on the phone. Friends do all kinds of things. You are not friends. Okay? And I can tell you If you work in a school system and you also have a child with special needs, you're going to lose a lot of friends. Don't work in the same school system that your child goes to if your child has special needs. Big mistake. Okay? Because then you have to choose my job or my child, my job or my child. Okay, well, hopefully the child comes first, but then that's your bread and butter. I mean, you're in this big mess. Don't do it. Okay? So I think I've talked enough for today. Hopefully I gave you some good insight and advice. Take it or leave it. But hopefully, it gave you some good insight. And know, just that I do what I do for the children, for them to get what's needed and appropriate for them. I cannot make it personal, and I cannot allow myself to get emotional in any way or show emotion in any way if I'm going to get the job done. Okay? Emotion belongs out the IEP door or off the Zoom or Google Meet. When you press end is when you can get emotional. When you walk out that door is when you can get emotional. So emotion can happen, just not in that meeting. Okay? So PM me if you're interested in the one-day intensive on present levels and goals, on how to create both, where they come from, how they should be written. And I can promise you, you're going to walk out of that day with me knowing exactly how to write them, knowing exactly how to read them, and knowing why, you know? And that's important. Okay. And, I'm even going to teach how, for example, an evaluation. How do you put that into how do you create that present level? Like, what the heck? How does that happen? Can you create present levels off of, everyday things like daily living? Of course. Can you create goals off of, goals that are already there and built off of that, they've mastered, but still needs to be built, and how do you write them? There's different things. Okay. So I think it's going to be really insightful and really good. And you're going to hear me talk about it a lot, but I do know that the 32 spots will go quick. So if you're interested, PM me. I will get you going and get you started. All right. So I will talk to you guys soon. I hope you have a wonderful evening, Monday evening. Sorry for talking so long. But hopefully you got some insight. I always try to kind of go back to the basics and tell you guys from the heart what is and that my intention, because I know I'm a strong-willed advocate. I'm not the advocate that sits back. I'm not the one that says, okay, let me be the mediator. I'm not a mediator. No interest in being a mediator. Um, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna get your child what's needed and appropriate. And if I'm going again, then I go in again, but we're gonna get it done. And the school's gonna do what's needed and appropriate for that child. But I will say, if what you're asking for is not needed and appropriate or individualized, I'm gonna tell you. Just like I'm gonna tell the school, I'm gonna tell you. Okay? We'll discuss it. But I will tell you straight up, nope, this ain't happening. Not gonna happen. And this is why. Okay? Because sometimes as parents, we want so much, we don't look at the whole picture and if it's really something that's um, something the school needs to do or something that's really needed at the moment. Sometimes there's other things that need to come first. All right. And I kind of paint that picture for you. You can't, you're not going to get it all at one time. Your child can't do it all at one time. So I teach you how to get what's needed and appropriate. And if it needs to be done in steps, then that's how we lead it. So I don't just call the school system out, I call you out too. Just because it has to be focused on the child, what's needed, what's appropriate, what's individualized, and how it's going to impact them in the educational setting and how their disability impacts them in the educational setting. All based off of that, the need from the impact of disability. Okay, what is needed in that result? so to speak. All right. And I'm very clear on that. I'm very proficient in it. Um, and no, I'm not an OTPT, anything like that, but I know a lot about it. And you don't have to be moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas. You don't have to be an OTPT in speech to know what is ethically right based off that. That's a common sense thing. That's not a intelligence or a certificate or a license thing. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where you have to believe in yourself too. You know, you have to believe that what you know is appropriate for your child is usually what is appropriate for your child. Not always. Sometimes we want everything, but most of the time, what you need for your child is already in you. Believe it or not. That sounds like a movie or what, you know, kind of like one of those things, but it's true. Moms and dads, and, you know, when you have that bond with a child, you have that instinct, and that instinct tells you everything. And at least mine does. You know, every time I never went with my gut, I kicked myself in the butt. And it led me to believe and learn and realize that I need to be smart. And if I'm going to be smart, I need to learn from my mistakes and not make them again. All right. We all make mistakes. But where the problem is if you make mistakes, repercussions happen. There's always a result, right? Not making that mistake again, right? It's kind of like when someone does something wrong. Okay, we can forgive you. It's not, we all screw up. But then if you keep making it and making it and making it and making it, it's like, dude, what's up? You know, you said you're sorry. You said you weren't going to do it again. Well, you've done it 15 times since. You know what I mean? So just don't make those same mistakes over and over because there's somebody that's paying for those mistakes. All right. So don't make them again. All right. Focus on what's important, your child. Focus on what's needed, the impact of disability. All right. And the result of that. Okay. So again, PM me if you're interested. Um, and let me know if you're interested in the 1 day intensive. I'll get you going. Who said something? Yeah, very true, Gladys. Um, Hermie, you can PM me, but I also above in the comments put my, here, I'll post it again. It's my WhatsApp link. So you download WhatsApp from the App Store. Super easy. You connect through Facebook. So you just click connect through Facebook, sign up through Facebook. And then you can click on this link that I just posted again. And that's how you find me. When you PM me, I get it, but sometimes it doesn't always come to me. So especially if you do it through this business page. So yes, you can PM me, but if you want to WhatsApp me, you'll always get me. So that's how that works. I'm loving what you're saying right now. I needed to hear this. Oh, good, Jamie. You're welcome. All right, guys. Have a wonderful night. Share this video. All right, do that for me. I think just like Jamie said, you know, maybe somebody needs to hear this, you know, that they're not doing the wrong thing by not always getting along, or I would say more so avoiding confrontation, avoiding serious conversation and dealing with it because there's a problem. All right. You have to do that. You have to get uncomfortable. Right? If you don't, you're not advocating. You have to get uncomfortable. You don't think I don't get uncomfortable? Of course I do. Even today, I still get uncomfortable. It's awkward. You just don't see it. I'm good at, you know, masking it. Of course it's uncomfortable. Don't think for 1 second that I don't get uncomfortable. I do. Okay? I get super frustrated. I get really loud. And I get way frustrated, you know? And It is very awkward. So I know, being a bold person, that if I get awkward, that for my passive friends, it's really awkward. So just know it's awkward for us all. Okay? So PM me if you need anything, and make sure that you PM me to get into this mastermind. Like I said, I only have 32 spots available. All right. I'd love to have you in it. It's one of those things where um, you're going to really, it's like one on one, 12 people in a class on a Zoom, where you can talk to me. All your questions are going to get answered. We're going to get through everything. It's going to be nice. It's actually going to be a time where we can get to know each other as well. So it's nice. You may make friends within the group, and be able to talk long term, So it's one of those things versus like some big, seminar thing, or which I do, but it's not as personal. And then you also have where you go and you take a course and it's on your own time. So there's something nice about taking the time, the day, to learn this very important information so that your rest of your IEP career isn't hell. And then making that, sacrifice of that day. And then you get to know people that have the same interests as you in this area and have the same concerns and worries and fears and so forth. So it's going to be a nice thing, I think, along with the fact that you're going to walk away with a lot of knowledge. I promise. Okay. And one thing that I'm doing in these next three that I'm doing, they're the special ones, just so you know, because that's the ones that are getting the huge discount, and they're the ones where I'm getting your input. Okay. Um, and then later on in doing this course, all right, later on, you're going to come back in. I'm going to have people come back in and teach something that I've taught them and explain to everybody how it changed things for them. So I think it's going to be an amazing path. There's no other advocate that teaches this on a personal basis, kind of on a one-on-one setting, and I think it's needed. You know, I think things need to change, and why not now? I don't do New Year's resolutions, but we're still going to make some changes. Okay, so I will talk to you guys soon, and have a wonderful evening. If I can figure out how to turn this off. Bye, guys.